There is not a player who is more valuable to a team than Derrick Henry is to the Tennessee Titans. The past 2.5 seasons, Henry has been the best running back in the league and has been the focal point for Tennessee's offense. But he has suffered a potential season-ending injury, and the Titans are going to need to do these things to make sure they can still win without King Henry. What's going on there, guys? Darren here from 610 Football. Make sure you hit that subscribe button for some of the best football content out on YouTube. Derrick Henry has been on a tear since 2019, leading the league in rushing for the past 3 years, and the Titans rely on him heavily. This year alone, he has accounted for 79% of the rushing yards gained by Titans running backs. Their offensive game plan is literally to just give the ball to Derrick Henry. And Henry is the perfect running back for this game plan. He is a big, bulky runner who is way too fast for his size, but he can also handle this massive workload, which is something that a lot of other running backs really can't do. So what are some of the things the Titans can do to make sure that they are still winning even with the absence of King Henry? Well, I think first things first, you have to find a replacement for him in the backfield. So I know Adrian Peterson signed with the Titans, but this doesn't really seem like a solution to me. AD has been having one of the more impressive retirement tours in NFL history. After the 2017 season, in which he spent time with both the Saints and the Cardinals, he's had a nice resurgence with Washington and Detroit. However, he hasn't played a snap of football this year, and he is 36 years old. So he may be able to be serviceable for the Titans, but I don't really see him as a full-time replacement. Then again, it is Adrian Peterson, so never say never. There is also a sea of running backs the Titans could trade for. If they get a solid duo in the backfield, I feel like that could make up for the loss of Henry. So who are a couple of options the Titans could trade for? Well, my favorite option is Philip Lindsay. The former undrafted free agent had back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons with the Denver Broncos, but then had a little bit of an off year last year, mainly due to the presence of Melvin Gordon and Lindsay suffering a couple of injuries. He signed with the Texans this past offseason and has not had a game of 10 rushes yet. Now, it would be a little tricky to get a player from a divisional rival, but at the same time, Lindsay is on a 1-year deal and the Texans are 1-7, so it's not like they're going to need him for a playoff run. I think a nice back you could pair him with would be Ronald Jones. Rojo is really in the same boat as Lindsay. Not a lot of touches so far this year, and he is on a contract year. We know Jones can be a good running back. He was the feature back for the Bucs last year during the regular season. That was until playoff Lenny came around, who eventually turned into regular season Lenny. With Jones being on a contract year, him getting traded to the Titans could set him up for a nice payday this spring. Now, there are obviously a fair bit more options the Titans could go for, but in my opinion, a combination of Lindsay and Jones would not only be really good, but not really that expensive. But you also have to remember, there are 10 players on the Titans offense not named Derrick Henry. So what can the passing offense do to keep up their awesome 2021 season? Well, we have seen AJ Brown start to heat up as of late. Over the last 3 games, Brown has had 25 catches for 379 yards and 2 TDs. But I have to say, Ryan Tannehill has been a little disappointing so far this year. While he isn't showing a lot of regression just yet, you can definitely tell that Arthur Smith had a huge influence on his resurgence. But Tannehill still has a good bit of talent left. This could be one of those seasons where, they start off meh to begin the season, but then when they get into the second half of the year, they really kick it into high gear. We saw the same thing with Kirk Cousins last year. Who's to say it's not the same case for Tannehill this year? Another way for the Titans to stay strong is for their defense to step up. Now, you would expect that with a defensive-minded head coach like Mike Vrabel, then the Titans would be pretty sound on that side of the ball, but it's actually been one of their weaker links the past couple of years. Now, while the defense has improved from last year, with the pass rush being better and them allowing only 24.4 points per game as opposed to 27.4, there is still a lot of room for improvement on defense. 24.4 points per game allowed really isn't a good amount of points to be giving up. That's at least 4 scores for the opposing offense each game. And these next 2 games aren't going to make it any easier on the defense, as they're going up against the Rams and then the Saints. So it's clear that Derrick Henry is basically the reason for the Titans being so successful the past couple of years. and they're off to a hot 6-2 start to begin the 2021 season. If they want to make a deep playoff push like they did back in 2019, they have got to find a viable replacement for King Henry. Thanks for watching.